I need to stop saying things like, what do you bring to the table? Hello, look at me. What do you mean, what do I bring to the table? First of all, look at me. Look at my social media. Look at what I do in the world. Read my writing. I bring so much to the table that the table broke. It broke under the weight of all the shit that I put on the table, that I brought to the table. Not to mention, like, the things I do on top of the table. It's not just me. It's like all the women I know. Not only are we bringing everything and more to the table and being hot while doing it, we are the table.
She thinks her list of what she brings to the table is extensive, even though she has yet to mention one thing of actual value to men. Men simply don't care about her blog comments, her posts on Instagram.
In a world that is against men and continues to show disrespect to the male gender, there are very few cures that can heal a man's spirit. Number one is the one and only Lord Jesus Christ. And number two is a passport. Why stay in a society that hates you? Guys, it's your boy Andy Matrix. I'm back on Angry Guys YouTube channel. Guys, if you haven't heard of me, go ahead and check me out at Andy Matrix Gaming, where I talk about anime, gaming, Japanese culture. Click the link in the description to go ahead and follow me. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to comment below. Help push this video up the algorithm. And guys, make sure to follow Angry Guy on Rumble because he's making content over there that's not allowed on YouTube. So click the link below. Follow him on Rumble. Check out that cool content. And also, guys, remember, the economy is in shambles. There's been mass layoffs. People cannot find another job. It's getting harder and harder to find a job now. And people are being pushed into homelessness. And they're being pushed to start their own side hustles and find other ways to make money. Which is why Angry Guy created the Content Creator Academy, where he's going to teach you how to build an audience and create a digital product where you can start generating an income for yourself and say goodbye to the 9-to-5. So click the link in the description, guys, and let's get started with the video. So today we will be reacting to Taylor the Fiend, who is a PNG tuber like your boy Andy Matrix. Yes, PNG tubers, baby. Taking over. Well, there's not a lot of us, I think. But anyways, Taylor the Fiend makes MGTOW and Red Pill content. And apparently many Western women are angry that men are leaving the West to date Asian women, Latinas, Eastern European women, like in Romania, and as well as African women. So let's see what the Fiend's got for us.
I need to stop saying things like, what do you bring to the table? Hello, look at me. What do you mean, what do I bring to the table? First of all, look at me. Look at my social media. Look at what I do in the world. Read my writing. I bring so much to the table that the table broke. It broke under the weight of all the shit that I put on the table, that I brought to the table. Not to mention, like, the things I do on top of the table. It's not just me. It's like all the women I know. Not only are we bringing everything and more to the table and being hot while doing it, we are the table.
She thinks her list of what she brings to the table is extensive, even though she has yet to mention one thing of actual value to men. Men simply don't care about her blog comments, her posts on Instagram, or the fact that she can somehow break tables with the weight of her own ego. Like, this is just ridiculous. Modern women are losing it, and they have no control over men. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way in, and let's get into it.
Well, for me, it was that I started noticing actually the differences between the Asian women and the Western women, and I started to like compare both of them. And why would that be that the Western men are going to Thailand to? Well, what I decided is that it's the women in Western world, they are so pushing for their rights and the manly woman that they forget to be women anymore.
They always bring up the fact that modern women are fighting for rights, but they can't bring up any rights that they don't have, aside from unaliving their children, by the way. It's always issues that were resolved literally hundreds of years ago. They have nothing to fight for, and yet they continue to be combative.
This is very true. This is very, very true, which is one of the reasons why the passport bros exist. You know, like, I've said before on this channel that feminism started like many movements start. It started like, women just wanting more rights. They wanted to work, buy property, own businesses, yada yada yada, right? And they did, but then like they kept asking for more and 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 more until now it's just a weapon against the opposite gender, right? So it's like they don't really know when to stop, right? Because for example, if you look at the history of the Philippines, the Filipinas, they also fought for certain rights in the Philippines, like to work, and they stopped there, right? After they got what they wanted, they stopped. They didn't continue to demand more and more and more and take and take and take and take, right? So yeah, it's one of those things that it just it just kind of starts off as a good idea, as something that everybody gets behind on, but then it just gets corrupted, and it's like they don't really have anything else to fight for. They just kind of look for things to complain about. It's true. It's true. That's what the Passport Bros is, baby.
From Ukraine, Kiev.
Atlanta, Georgia.
How long have you guys been dating for?
About 2 months.
Americans and Eastern Europeans, do you feel like we have a similar culture?
I think it's pretty different. Americans have lost a lot of their cultural values. Eastern Europe, for the most part, has a very family-oriented kind of thing. She's all about family. The wife will cook for the husband. In America, that's not a thing. My brother's wife cooks like 3 times a year. They just order Uber Eats every day. I want borscht. Men need to be real men, which is gone from American culture for the most part. If you're too manly, you're the, what is it?
Toxic masculinity.
Masculinity, yeah. So it's complete opposite.
It's weird how easily masculinity has been shamed in the West. This natural instinct that men have been demonized to the point where men have to resort to going overseas to gamble on finding a woman, and modern women can't stand it.
Here's the question that we need to ask. What freaking values does America have anymore? What values does America have anymore? Because, I mean, if you, even on the conservative side and the Republican side, it's pathetic. Like, you would think these are the people that are supposed to like maintain American society or whatever, but they work for the same company as the Democrats. And recently, what they've been advocating for is absolutely ridiculous. It's literally destroying our culture, destroying America. There's no culture here anymore. The only culture in America is the culture that foreigners, that immigrants bring into America, the Latinos, the Asians. And I don't want to get too into it, but look, what I'm trying to get at is that we have a culture of demasculating our men in America. Oh, well, I'm not gonna cook for him because I don't have to. That's like stereotypical gender norms or whatever, right? Okay. Oh, well, I'm not gonna do this and that for him, blah blah blah. So what's the purpose of getting married? Just for the sex? Relationships in America have no purpose anymore. Outside of sex, what else is there? Because gender norms, these stupid liberal terminology, they call it gender norms, right? They call it gender norms, but it's natural. Like, if you look at the animal kingdom, and it's the same thing. The males know what to do, the females know what to do. In other cultures, in other cultures, other countries, women know that they have to do certain things for men, and men know that they have to do certain things for women. And what they don't understand is that the things that women demand of men, many of us, most of the time, we're willing to do it. Even if it's a little bit hard, we're willing to do it. But when there's nothing in return, then what's the point? So relationships in the West have no purpose if men are not allowed to be men, if they're not allowed to be themselves.
So what do you suggest the women in the West do if everyone's advice is for men in the West to look elsewhere for a wife? What happens to all the women in the West then?
Well, that one study we referenced that said by 2030 or something, 50% of the women will be without a man. So that's the direction we're heading, because the men that are looking for those traditional values are starting to go overseas, and then the other half of the men are just checking out completely. They don't want to deal with women at all. So this is going to be a big issue that women are going to deal with in the future as their options dwindle.
The problem is that there's no real solution for modern women in the West. They bought into the man hate so hard that there is no way for them to be able to change their mindset. They chose the quote-unquote baddie lifestyle, and this is the end result of all their posturing.
I agree with Taylor the Fiend. I agree 100% because, this is what they asked for. the feminism, the hashtag Me Too, and all these movements, this is what they asked for, right? They asked for an inch, but they took a whole mile. This is what they asked for, and this is the results, right? They bought into the man hating so much that men just said, you know what? I'm not going to continue to be disrespected. I'm going to go somewhere else. And this is exactly what's happening. This is exactly what's happening. I got friends that are leaving, that they're straight up getting up and leaving. I mean, I have a friend who left America, moved to the Philippines. He got a wife over there, and he's happy as hell. He's happy as hell. And I'm about to get the heck up out of here too. You know? But I think the damage, I think they've done so much damage to the point that there's almost like no solution to this. Because the solution is to, remove a lot of these stupid laws, go back in time, literally take away a lot of the things that were done, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to give up all the things that they quote unquote fighted for, right? Because they want their freedom so much. But now that they have their freedom, they don't know what to do. And now that the men are leaving, they're like, oh, wait a minute, you guys can't leave. But you said, whatever happened to we don't need men? Whatever happened to we don't need you? And now that the men are finally listening, now they're panicking, right? So I think, I don't think there's a solution. I don't think there's a solution because if even the men are plugging out of the system, what the females are going to have to do, they're just going to have to share a guy. Because they're all fighting for the top 5%, 10% of dudes, right? The six-figure earners, the millionaires. They're going to have to start sharing because they absolutely refuse to date anybody at the bottom, even though the girl working at McDonald's is also trying to get a millionaire, which is freaking funny. They're going to have to share a dude. That's the only way. Or be like, what was it, the Handmaid's Tale? They're just going to have to, like, if they want to be a mother, they're just going to have to get pregnant by, I don't know, Elon Musk. And then Elon Musk will give them $100,000 to take care of the baby. And then that's it. And that's it. That's how it's going to have to be. But yeah, man, it's the damage has been done. And a lot of dudes are now willing to fight for this system here in America. Who's willing to fight for this crap? Even the people that say that America belongs to, even the people that America belongs to, even they don't want to fight for this shit. Even they don't want to fight for this shit. What makes you think like the immigrants are going to want to stay here and fight too? No, it's not going to happen. We're too deep in. The damage has been done, man. And guys, not only is dating absolutely horrible in America, but also the economy is in shambles. A lot of people are losing their jobs. There's been millions of layoffs. I believe we are at about 5 million or more layoffs and counting. In 2026, it's not going to be any better. People are being pushed into homelessness. People are living in their cars, and it's absolutely horrendous. And a lot of people are going to have to start their own side hustles, to make some money. And that's why the Angry Guy created the Content Creator Academy, where he's going to teach you how to create your own, how to build your own audience online and create a digital product so that you can start generating an income on the internet and start to say goodbye to the 9-to-5. So go ahead and click the link in the description, and you'll even get a free guide once you sign up. Click the link in the description, check out the Content Creator Academy, and now let's move on with our video.
So a lot of black women DM me and told me to stop talking about black men. They were like, leave our black men alone, they're ours. No one is interested marrying about Filipina. Well, the good news is I'm not here to listen to them, because the good news is a lot of Filipina are interested of marrying black men. That's right.
It's funny how Western women claim dominion over the men who travel overseas, as if calling dibs on the men they don't even want is somehow possible. They had their chances to get with these men, and they squandered their own chances. Now they're on their own.
That's another thing I don't understand. That's another thing that I don't understand. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe because they feel guilty or something. But it's like, you guys heard about these black girls that go to Thailand, and instead of dating men from Thailand, they're just there looking for black men. What the fuck? You left America, you're in America. You scare the men away. The men go to another country. Then you go and fly to that country to try to get the same men that ran away from you. These dudes, they ran away. They ran away. Why are you chasing them? They're trying to get themselves a Filipina, a Thai woman, a Japanese woman, a Korean woman, but you're there trying to like, trying to catch them. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense in what it means. At least to me, what it means is that they have deep regret, a lot of deep regret for the way that they rejected their own men, right? And let me tell you something. A lot of people won't tell you this, and hopefully Angry Guy allows me to say this on his channel. But American black women, they are one of the most single females on this planet. Like, I think there's like over 3 million single black women. Maybe more than that. There's about like 3 million single black women, whether if it's like, single mothers or just single women. Like, nobody's trying to like wife these chicks up. Nobody's trying to wipe them up. But what is happening is that a lot of men from the black community, they're becoming passport bros, saving up their money. And this is millionaires. This is six-figure earners. This is poor men. Yes, men that are poor, working in factories, working in fast food. They're saving up money. They're saving up dimes to get up and get the heck up out of America. That's how serious this is, man.
Women in other countries like South America, because they're taught at a young age to learn how to cook, that is something that is a part of like the day-to-day routine. So the biggest comparison to over here is that women lack that, and not a lot of women know how to cook here. A lot of women over here are overweight and they don't take care of themselves. They don't work out. They don't really care about their body and any of that. So one of the biggest things is like women over there don't eat out. They don't eat processed food because they know how to cook. They cook. So they're eating home cooked meals, which means they look better. They take care of their bodies better. They care about how they look because, I mean, if you're in shape, then you want to maintain that. If you're already eating out all the time, eating whatever it is, Popeyes, anything over here, then you're just going to keep fueling the fire as you keep going. You're not going to care about going to the gym.
Modern women put too much of an emphasis on women who cook. It's definitely a good thing if women know how to cook, and yes, men do care about that, but it's not the sole reason why men are going overseas. A woman who can cook but is still disrespectful is just about as valuable as a woman in the West.
I mean, forget about cooking, bro. Cooking, that's one of the least of my concerns. I mean, a lot of these chicks, they bring like so many problems. Like, a lot of them are in student loan debt. They put themselves in a lot of credit card debt. Like, a lot of the debt in America is owned by 60% of females. There's actually more women buying houses than men in America. Like, seriously, this is like, look at the statistics. Look at the numbers, right? Go to Google. Look at the numbers. They actually buy more houses than men, right? And for some reason, they're still not satisfied. It boggles my mind. And now with the housing market, what's happening now is that they're trying to sell their homes. They can't sell it. So they generate a lot of debt, and then they go into a relationship expecting somebody to help them out with that. No, it's like, forget about cooking. It's like even finances. They can't get their freaking finances together, bro.
What you, Andrew? What do you expect on the first date?
When I was dating,
yeah,
probably that the expectation was that a man would pay for the date and chivalry and all of that. What I would expect in modern year is that I wouldn't date. It just sounds like a nightmare. I would just check out completely and grab a passport and passport bro for the rest of my life. I don't think I would ever date another United States woman ever again, honestly.
Where would you ship your passport wife from?
I have no idea. Just anywhere but here.
She said that so aggressively. Where would you ship your wife from? As if men are just going to abduct women from their home countries. Women like this are clueless and refuse to understand that there is significantly more to passport bros than that.
Can we have a serious conversation about the LBHs, passport bros, like whatever you want to call them? I just don't understand how the most basic level men can leave America, travel to these other countries, and just pull absolute tens, like the hottest girls that you will ever see. And these men, like men that we wouldn't even look twice at, are just pulling them and convincing them to date them. Like, I truly don't understand it. Can someone please explain to me how this is happening and how these men are able to get away with it? Also, like, how can we stop this? It's out of control, and it's getting to a point where it needs to be stopped.
No problem, honey. I'll go ahead and explain it. You see, the price in America went up so much that it started to push people out. And I'm not talking about just the cost of living. It's just the demands. Like, lot of women say, oh, well, I don't want to date a man that makes less money than me. He has to make $100,000 a year or $500,000 a year. You know, they always put out some type of, an amount of money, right? An amount of money. And if he doesn't make that amount of money, I don't want to be with him. I don't want to marry him. He's got to buy me a house, yada, 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 yada. So in reality, in America, in the West, dating just became so expensive that men were like, yo, I need to go somewhere cheaper. So you know how like immigrants come to America because they come from poor countries. So they come to America to find good jobs. And then they work those jobs and send money back home to their families, right? Nobody says anything about that because that's seen as a good thing. That's seen as a noble thing. That's seen as something positive. But when the passport bros go to other countries to live more affordably and to find women that don't make these high demands of them, that's a problem. That's a problem because a Filipina's not asking you for $1 million. She's asking you to take her to Jollibee. Yeah. Compete with that shit.
She has no idea how demented she sounds right now. She's bitter that average men can go to another country and get with a good woman, and she believes that men need to be stopped from doing that. And it's all out of jealousy that she can't get a single dude in her life.
This one's for the men who just say they've given up on Western women and are going to go abroad for a woman. I understand some of your frustrations, but if you're going to be a passport bro, there are certain downsides. First of all, you have no idea if this woman is using you for a visa or your money. You're not going to be able to have fun banter with her. She might be more feminine, but she might not feel like your best friend. She might feel more like a maid service.
What this woman calls bantering is just a fancy word for belittling. What she doesn't understand is if a Western man and a foreign woman want to get into a relationship, then that is their business. She has no say in what men do with their time or their money.
I think this is a really stupid argument when girls say, oh, well, how do you know the Filipinas and the Japanese women and women in other countries, how do you know they're not using you for your money, for your visa, just to come to America? First of all, let's cover the money part, okay? Let's cover the money part. What kind of woman does not want a man that makes a lot of money? That's in the entire world, okay? That's in the entire world. Some women ask for a lot of money. Some women ask for a little bit of money, right? That's something that's not going to change. And passport bros know that. Passport bros know that. And they know that women are always going to choose the man that makes the most money. That's why they bring their American dollars over. That's why they bring their online business over to Asia or Eastern Europe or whatever, right? That's why. So that's a stupid argument because you're basically accusing women in other countries for the same thing that you ask men here in America, right? And as far as the visa, a lot of people, they're not really interested in coming to America. I mean, sure, they might want to come to America and get a job here, but as far as living in America, nah, bro. Don't you know that a lot of Filipinos are actually going back home in 2025 now more than ever? A lot of them are going home. A lot of Japanese people that come to America, they see the 7-Eleven in America, and they're like, dude, I want to go to the 7-Eleven back in Japan. Like a lot of things here in America, they just don't work like in other countries. Because they know, like, Chinese people come to America, and they're like, shit, transportation sucks here. I got to drive everywhere. And shit, man. You know? Transportation in America sucks. The food in America is poison, now more than ever. You know, the culture here sucks. Making friends here is starting to suck now. So maybe back in the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, yeah, a lot of immigrants that wanted to come to America. But now that's changing. The reason that's changing is because a lot of immigrants, they're going back and building their own countries. The Philippines is building a really good train system, a good economy, you know, a good job market. Same thing in Asian countries, same thing in Eastern Europe, same thing in Latin America. Mexico is growing to the point that a lot of Mexicans, they're not even coming to America anymore. A lot of Mexicans are going back home to Mexico and staying there. So as far as like the visa and the money, sorry, your argument has been defeated. You can't use that argument no more. Oh, and she said, oh, well, she can't be your best friend. Best friend, motherfucker? You think that we go overseas to find a female best friend? No, we want a wife. We don't want no best friend. You want a best friend? Freaking go on, I don't know. Go on YouTube or go on online to find friends. We got our own friends. We're looking for a wife. What the hell are you talking about?
Number 2, you're definitely going to run into some cultural differences. Is she going to be willing to give up her family, her friends, her career just to come to the States for you? You guys are also going to run into the issue of where to live. Or are you willing to move there? Passport broing is a cop-out for something that can be easily solved.
He's just wrong. It's not a problem that can easily be solved. Modern women oftentimes are incredibly entitled, ungrateful, incredibly mean-spirited. They rip into men for any reason, and then they have the nerve to blame those very same men for taking their chances abroad.
Show up to Thailand with their little 50K salary and they feel like gods because the dollar goes so much further here. Pretty Thai women flirt with them because of the elevated status their perceived wealth gets them, and they start feeling the best they've ever felt in their life. Normally, I would love that for them, but unfortunately, it turns them into monsters. Passport bros hate me. They hate all Western women. I was shocked when I moved to Thailand 7 years ago. I joined a bunch of Facebook pages for like expats in Bangkok and Thailand. The men in there were so publicly hateful towards Western women, it was crazy.
That sounds like jealousy to me. That sounds like she's been in Thailand for 7 years and she can't find, she can't find a man. But like she criticizes and attacks, the passport bros, the male expats that are dating the Thai women. Yeah, and that's how it is. That's what the same way that women use their social advantages in the dating market. Well, men are using the USD against the Thai baht or whatever other currency to to be able to have more of a financial advantage. Yeah, it's an advantage. Yeah, we use that because it's available, so we use it. But it's just straight up jealousy. It's just straight up jealousy. It's like it's almost as if they don't want you to be happy. They don't want you to be happy. Like, stay in America. Go back, stay in America and be miserable, you loser. Stay over there and be an incel. Just stay there and be an incel, you idiot, you loser. Don't go to Thailand or Japan or the Philippines and get yourself a beautiful Asian woman. No, stay in America and be miserable. That's what you should do, you freaking loser. That's how they want us to live. They don't want you to be happy. It's crazy.
Modern women have been nothing but hateful towards men, not only online, but in the real world as well. They had no problem treating men like garbage, but the second they get some pushback online, all of a sudden they are the victims of irreversible trauma.
This is what they would say verbatim. Western women are all fat and ugly and they all want to be treated like Cinderella, but they're all super masculine and they're slobs. Meanwhile, Thai women are submissive and sweet and beautiful and they'll do anything I say, especially in the bedroom. And I'm not kidding, men would publicly post that in these Facebook pages with like 100,000 group members, and the comments were all men agreeing with them. Anyway, just talking to those guys for 5 minutes, it was very easy to see why they couldn't get a wife in America. It was because they hate women.
Passport bros, for the most part, don't hate women. They're just sick of the horrible attitudes of Western women. If these guys truly didn't like women, then they wouldn't subject themselves to a lifelong marriage with the very same gender they supposedly despise. It makes no sense at all.
To break it to you, I think that we've just got a very, very selfish culture of women. And to any women out there that say I have internalized misogyny or anything like that, that would require that I have a problem with women worldwide. I do not have a problem with women worldwide. I have a problem with Western women. And if you think that I'm just like making this up out of nowhere, reflect on the fact that there are Western men that are flying out east to find wives. Are Eastern men coming out west to find wives? No. Where in the world are men flying out in droves to marry American women. Nobody wants us. Why? We're big, we're selfish. We don't want to hear anything. You can't tell me to eat less. You can't tell me to change my life. You can't tell me it's not about me.
So that YouTuber right there, that's the real Femme Sapien. I like her YouTube channel. I actually recommend go and subscribe to her YouTube channel, the real Femme Sapien. So like she said, like who is trying to marry American women? Like American men are like leaving to marry women in other countries, in Latin America, Eastern Europe, Asia. Who the heck is coming, is flying over to America to wife up American feminist women? Who? Nobody. Like the Asian dudes, they rather go to Europe. They rather go to Latin America. There's Chinese men marrying African women, for God's sakes. Ain't nobody coming to America trying to wife up a feminist American woman. And I say feminism because even the women that claim that they're not feminists, they still have a feminist mentality. You understand what I mean? So she's right. She's absolutely right. Nobody's coming to America to wife to wife them up. It's the opposite. Men are leaving. Like the American men don't want to get married here. They're leaving. Get your passports.
You know you have a problem when men all over the planet want nothing to do with Western women. It was all fun and games for them back when they were partying and treating men like crap, but now they are forced to deal with the truth that they are unlikable in every possible way.
Now I realize why American guys come to the Philippines to find a wife. You guys won't even understand. The Filipino girls, I'm not gonna lie, are hot. Besides these women being absolutely beautiful, the loyalty is absolutely crazy. Coming from America, all these women always say, and this is an American thing, happy wife, happy life. In the Philippines, it's happy relationship, happy relationship.
That's one thing that modern women will just never understand. They think the key to a successful relationship is measured strictly on how happy they are, and that measure is based on how much they're receiving while also giving nothing in return.
All right, so since this guy is talking about being in the Philippines, I'm going to tell you my story about the Philippines. So it all started with me trying to go to Japan, but Japan, they make it difficult for you to move over there. One of the easiest way really is to get a bachelor's degree and then teach English in Japan. That's the best way to actually live in Japan and stay there long term. But I don't have a bachelor's degree, right? And they don't make it easy for tourists to stay there like for more than 3 months, right? So, so naturally, during the pandemic, the lockdown came, and I was like, well, I want to go to Japan, but I know that I can't live there. So, I just kind of started looking around. And then I was thinking about going to Thailand, but I don't know. There's something about Thailand that just turns me off. And then, of course, I looked for other options. And I saw an influencer going to the Philippines, and I said, okay, the Philippines, And then I started researching the Philippines more and more and more. And eventually I started talking to Filipinas on Facebook groups. And even video chatting, like the way that these women treat you it was completely different. Like when you're with a Filipina, you actually feel like you're treated with respect, which is something that's being lost here in the West. Okay, there's no respect when dating in the West. That's the problem. That's why men go to the Philippines. And so I went to the Philippines in 2024. It was fantastic, and the people there were so nice. The women were so nice. And the girl that I was with, I've never been treated with so much respect before, and then finally in 2025, I went back again and I found a Filipina that I really like. And it's not just for dating. It's just like the culture there is different. They have a culture of respect. They have a culture of respect, which is something that's being lost in America. That's something that's being lost in America. And so, and that's why, men are willing to go to a country that's not as nice, a country that's considered quote unquote poor, so that they can be treated much nicer. Go where you are treated best, as the nomad capitalist says. Go where you are treated best. Okay? Let that ring.
When I was in America, honestly, I used to hate when girls always say, you need to make me happy. It's a happy wife, happy life. This has to change because in a relationship, I'm not saying everything's supposed to be 50-50, but at the end of the day, so you're trying to tell me I need to make a woman happy and I need to be miserable to have a happy relationship? That doesn't make sense. Out here, these girls honestly cater to their damn man when it comes to cooking for them, giving them massages, going over and above without asking for anything in return. That's how a relationship should be. And again, you guys can say whatever you want in the comments. There is a reason why that there's a thing called passport bros, and there's a reason why a lot of people are leaving America to go look for wives. It's a reason.
It's not a perfect solution, but if there's a slim chance that a man can go to a place where he can find a woman who's actually going to treat him respectfully, then you can't really blame men for taking that chance and moving to another country. It's as simple as that.
Online dating, Tinder and Hinge are crazy now. Here's a screenshot of a woman. The guy says to her, "Hey, there's a pizza place I wanted to try. Would you like to join me Friday night after work? If that's a weird first date. Do you like pizza? I should have asked." She replied, "Yes, but I usually go to Michelin star restaurants or some place equivalent to that on the first date. Usually the guy likes to impress me and I like being impressed. It makes me feel like he's really interested in me. I appreciate the offer, but I'm looking for something that feels a bit more thoughtful or aligned with what I'm seeking." He dodged a bullet. First date doesn't have to be expensive. I mean, it can be, but it doesn't have to be.
The sad part is that she probably thought she was letting him down easy with that response because she thinks she deserves a man who's going to take her to an obscenely expensive restaurant to try and impress her. This is why these women are going to be alone.
Remember, men who can afford women in their own country don't look outside of it. Okay? Or they look outside of it to exploit you. Remember that. If a man is a loser in his own country, why do you want him?
That's the problem. Women don't want the men in their country. They just don't want these men to move overseas to find somebody else. They feel like they've claimed ownership over those men, and if those men find peace somewhere else, it's obviously a problem and it drives them insane.
That's my question. If he can't get a woman where he is, there's something wrong. Okay, because America has lots of women. That don't require a plane ticket. Okay? So just understand there's something off. A Western woman is expensive, exactly.
The price of a plane ticket is significantly cheaper than a modern woman, let's be real. That's what these women won't understand. They spent their entire lives hating men for no reason, and then men got tired of their nonsense and left. They want nothing to do with modern women anymore.
I just spoke with the homies all night long, and our conclusion is America is the worst place in the world to date if you're a man. Think about this. If you make $34,000 a year, you're the top 1% of the world. How are you treated in America? And before guys are like, "Oh, it's so unfair. These women, blah, 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 blah. They're screwing everything up." Guys, they have it worse. They have it worse than you. They like to date up and across, right? If you're born in the richest country in the world, who are you dating up to? They have no options. You need to thank the Lord every day you were born in America and you're a man, because you leave the country, you're in the top 1%. You just got to leave to find out, bro.
Even if that guy was making the top 1% in the US, it wouldn't matter unless that man has an exciting life and is freely giving his money away. Modern women will still have an excuse to hate him regardless of what money he has.
Let me get this straight. You have been telling men for years that you don't want them, that you don't need them, that they don't meet your standards, that they don't treat you right. That you can pay for your own hair, you can pay for your own nails, you can afford your own home, you can afford your own car. Men are good for nothing. You're strong, you're independent. But then you get mad when these men go to another country to actually find a woman that has the qualities that they are looking for in a wife.
They're upset because they refuse to live in a world where anybody can find peace and happiness without her. Modern women oftentimes are very miserable and they want the planet to be as unhappy and as lonely as they are.
Make it make sense. I also want to talk about why this mindset that so many Western women have is actually extremely problematic. Because not only are you putting down the men who are going overseas with pure intentions, you're also putting down the women from these other countries solely off of the fact that they were not brought up in a Western culture. Because you're calling them uneducated, you're calling them poor, you're calling them weak, you're calling them vulnerable.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing. That's another thing that they did not realize they were doing in the process. So in the process of shaming men for going to other countries and dating women in other countries, they were also indirectly shaming women for being with these men that were quote unquote losers, right? So why are you afraid of other women being with the men that you consider losers, right? They're losers. You don't want them. You don't want them. You don't care about them. So let some other woman take them. But no, they don't even allow you to be a happy loser, right? Right? They want you to be a loser and for you to be, I don't know, homeless in the streets of America or something, right? So and as they say, it's like they talk crap about all these other women. It's like, oh, well, what if she doesn't speak English? Oh, what if you don't get along with her because of the culture? Blah, 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 blah. They make all kinds of excuses, all kinds of stories, right? All for their own selfish reasons, right? Because really what they want is they don't want you to be happy without them. That's what it is. They don't want you to be happy without them. It's selfish. It's absolutely selfish, and it's absolutely freaking psychotic. You know, like women in America have become so psychotic. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So, that's why you get your passport. Get your passport now. A passport is not going to solve all your problems, but it sure as heck can bring you so much peace of mind. So much peace of mind that you're not going to want to go back to America. Right? And you cannot put a price on peace of mind. And one of the things that I like about Taylor the Fiend that he said that an airplane ticket, from America to another continent on the planet it costs so much less money than a Western woman. Truer words have not been spoken. But hey, guys, whatever your thoughts, make sure to comment below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for future notifications. And I'll see you guys in the next video. It's your boy, Andy Matrix. Godspeed, baby.